Brian Tracy advises that we should be able to save 50% of all our bonuses and our increases. Hi, I'm Ngozi Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If today is your first time here, you're welcome. In this channel, we discuss how to create wealth, to fulfill our purpose, and to bless our world. Please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment for me below saying I subscribed, and I'll be so glad to respond to you. Today, we will be discussing how to escape from poverty, how to escape from the wicked clutches of poverty. And I start with a story. Now, a couple of months back, I watched the graduation ceremony of 3 beautiful Nigerian girls from an American university. Now, they were so beautiful and they spoke so confidently about the future. Who are these girls? They were part of the girls that were abducted from a secondary school in Chibok in northern Nigeria by an Islamic group. Now, it was said concerning the girls that while the vehicle was conveying them to an unknown destination, they were able to jump out of the vehicle. That means they escaped. They escaped from their abductors. And today, they are facing life with confidence and with peace and prosperity. Now, that's more like what happens when we escape from the clutches of poverty. We embrace prosperity, we embrace peace, and we embrace abundance when we are able, just like those girls, to take the courage, to take the steps, to take the initiative, to jump out, to escape from the clutches of poverty. When we do that, we embrace prosperity and we embrace abundance. Now, to be able to escape from the clutches of poverty, we need to take 5 steps. We need to take 5 important steps to be able to escape from the wicked clutches of poverty. Now, the very first step that we need to take is to save more than we spend. You see, when we earn our income, it is so important that we save part of what we earn. You see, in this life, no amount is enough. Why? Because there is a law that is known as Parkinson's law. This law says that the expenditure will always rise to meet income. That means that no matter how much you earn, there will always be needs that will rise up to swallow up whatever you earn. So to be able to create wealth and to be able to escape from poverty, we must ensure that we take a decision to save consistently, to start saving early and to save consistently from what we earn. Okay, now there are different schools of thought about how much we should earn, but generally it is advisable to save about 10% of what you earn. Brian Tracy advises that we should be able to save 50% of all our bonuses and our increases. Okay, in the course of working, sometimes our salaries are increased, or there are some bonuses, or maybe the 13th month salary. Such income, Brian Tracy is of the opinion that you should spend 50% of it, while you can now use 50% of it to do whatsoever it takes you want to do. Now, in the Bible, it was 20% that Joseph advised Pharaoh to save, and the 20% that they saved was able to keep them from starvation during the lean years. Okay, now the issue of savings is so important that scripture says that a man who does not save from what he earns is a fool. And I know that nobody here today listening to me is a fool, so please make up your mind to save part of what you earn. Okay, now the next step that needs to be taken for us to escape from poverty is to invest early and frequently, is to invest part of what we save. Okay, the goal of saving is not just for us to use it for party rice or to buy new clothes or that. No, the goal of saving is to invest. And I have said in some of my previous videos that the major difference between the wealthy and the poor is in their money habits. We said that the wealthy usually invest much of what they earn, while the poor spend much of their income on consumer items. So it's important that you invest. Okay, invest early and invest frequently. When we invest early, you see that the compound interest, okay, the principle of compound interest, which so many great minds say is part of the wonders of the world. The principle of compound interest will cause a little amount of money you invested for decades to turn into something very huge and massive, to turn into a very big amount. So it's so important that we embrace savings early and then to continue saving frequently. Okay, so that is the second step we need to take for a man who wants to escape from the clutches of poverty. Now, the third step that we need to take if you want to escape from the clutches of poverty is to shun consumerism. Now, consumerism is an inclination to spend so much money on consumer items. Now, there are so many people in the world today who have that inclination. Like the prodigal son of the Bible, they spend everything. So a man who wants to escape from poverty must ensure that he escapes from consumerism. And how to do this is to make sure that you don't get attracted to everything that advertisers, beam on your screen. No, don't go with everything that advertisers are beaming on the big screen. No. And if you are in your home and you just make sure that you change things when they spoil, not when the newer version comes out. Because sometimes some of these things they call newer versions are just marketing ploys to take money from the hands of the people who are not disciplined. So just make up your mind that you will retain as much of what you earn as possible. Now, the next step that needs to be taken for a man who wants to escape poverty is to acquire assets and not liabilities. An asset is something that puts money in your hands, while liabilities are those things that take money away from your hands. Now, the difference between the rich and the poor most times is that wealthy people love to acquire assets, while the poor buy a lot of liabilities. So it is advisable that you try to acquire more, most things that are assets that will go ahead and attract more money, that will go ahead and bring more money into your hands. It is only money that is attracted by assets that breed more money. Liabilities keep men poor. Okay, now the next step and the final step we're discussing now is that have multiple sources of income. Yes, a man who wants to escape from poverty must ensure that he has multiple sources of income. I listened to somebody tell not too long ago that the river that went through Eden in the story of the Bible, that river split into 4 streams. So the man was saying and advocating that everybody should ensure that they have 4 streams. That is entirely his opinion, but it's a very good one. Now, with internet on our side these days, it's so easy. It is relatively doable to be able to earn passive income from, from our intellectual properties, from rentals, from, earn passive incomes from different sources, okay? So that is doable, that is achievable. Aim at that. Don't depend on just one income. Don't depend on just one income source, because something can happen to that source and the person will now be stranded. Okay, so it's so important that we apply these 5 steps. Okay, save more than you spend, invest early and frequently, shun consumerism, acquire assets and non-liabilities, and have multiple streams of income. Now, I want to say before I end this beautiful video that becoming wealthy is a personal choice. Becoming wealthy is a personal choice. It's something you decide to do. It's not something anybody can do for you. You can either embrace these 5 steps that I have discussed now. You can embrace these 5 steps, or you embrace excuses, okay? But excuses will always keep people poor, while embracing these steps will lead somebody out, from the captivity of poverty into prosperity and into freedom, into abundance, okay? Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful video. Once again, I remind you, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to this channel and share this link with some of your friends. There are people who need this information, people who are still under the captivity of consumerism. So please share our link with your friends. Put on the bell notification so you will always be notified each time I release a new video. And at the description box, you will see the link to my authors page in Amazon and in my website where my books are. Those books are very beautiful and you will love them. Until I come your way next time, please keep flourishing.